much to go through.
So,
Uh,
3t squared minus 5t squared is negative 2t squared.
44.
So, you know, if we wait like an extra like.
Negative 2t minus negative 2t equals positive, so it'll just cancel.
24 t squared.
And then 1, and then plus
Minus
negative 1,
60.
negative 9, yeah.
And then
Add the 5
Plus
t.
10.
So, okay, I think that we've
Is
reached
negative 9
consensus
and
on
then
this,
it's
and it's in the wrap-up mode.
Is that not just
Because
a negative?
negative,
So we'll
minus
see,
negative 9, I'll just have. There you go, huh?
well done as a class. People zeroed in on the answer, and then they distributed their expertise.
And then you have to distribute the 2 to all these. No, just the 2.
You're just distributing these two here, to get that, and then you add those together.
So for those of you that don't quite have it yet, don't worry, because it isn't assigned homework problem.
-4 minus 4
Wait a
is
second,
negative.
Plus 20.
Okay, could we check that the brakes are off and put the horses in the barn?
Did you do that? Yep.
He was done, sorry.
And we'll go to our closing topic for the day.
Picture quick.
I'll be right out.
So, bad idea, actually. That's definitely.
So if I have a rectangle that has a length of 10 and a width of 4, then what is the area of that rectangle? 40, because we know that area is equal to length times width. That's our formula. But if I give you another rectangle, and I tell you that the area is equal to 60, but the length is equal to 20, and I want to know what is the width. That's fine for easy numbers, but what we need to do is to take the equation that we know, A is LW, and generate a new equation out of it, W equals something. So whenever you start with one equation, you can always generate other equations that are equally useful. So if we have A equals LW, and we want to have the W by itself, then what is it that's causing the trouble? The L. So what's the relation between the L and the W is multiplication. So how do we remove that? By dividing by an L. But if we do it to the left, we have to do it to the right, and we have that W equals A over L. So we have one formula, and from the one formula we can generate other formulas by solving for any other variable that's in the equation. Now, let's take an example of another rectangle that has a length of 20 and a width of 10. Now this is a perimeter fence around an installation, and this is headquarters. And starting at headquarters, your supervisor says he wants you to walk the perimeter and look for any trouble. So when you walk the perimeter and get back to headquarters, how far have you walked? 60 feet, agreed? Because you add up the distances. So we have a formula that the perimeter of a rectangle is twice the length plus twice the width. Now suppose I wanted to use that formula in a different way, and I wanted to solve for W. So it's just like solving for X. There are things that are causing trouble. So if we want to solve for W, we need to isolate the W. So what's causing trouble are the 2L and the 2. Now experience teaches us that which is the best one to start with. Well, when we had the equation, x is 2x plus 3 is equal to 11, which was the best place to start, the 3 or the 2? 3, the same story here. Here you have a number separated by a plus sign, number separated by a times sign, and experience teaches you that this is the best place to start. So if we want to isolate the W, we have to have that go away. And how are we going to make it go away? Well, what's its relation to the W is plus, agreed? So to make it go away, we have a minus 2L. But what we do to that side, we have to do to this side. Now these are apples and oranges, so you just write them out, P minus 2L. on this side we get a two W. Now the rest is easy, the two is causing trouble, so we divide this side by two, and we have to divide the entire other side by two. And we get W is equal to P minus two L over two. So we have taken one equation and generated another equation from it, equally useful. Now, I'm going to give you another equation, which you will understand the meaning of about 2 weeks from now. It has to do with simple interest. And I want to solve this equation for R. So, please everyone, let's try to solve that for R. Now you can do it any way you want, as long as you do valid mathematical steps. So we have to isolate the R. You may get answers that look different from your neighbors, but they may be equivalent. One can be turned into the other. So Alex, you have an answer. R is equal to?
A minus P1 over P2.
A minus P. Well, P1, or 1 times P, we just use to call it P.
Over R. PT.
Over what?
PT.
PT. And we do have a winner there. Now, he arrived at this answer by doing distribution first. So we had A equals P, 1 plus RT, and we distribute the P. A equals P plus PTR. Now, there are things causing trouble. The P and the T and the P. And experience teaches you which is the best place to start,
We subtract
with
the
the P. So we subtract the P from each side, and we get A minus P is equal to PTR. And now we divide both sides by PT, and we get the answer that he gave us, that R is A minus P over PT. Now, an alternate way to do it is just divide both sides by P. So A equals P, 1 plus RT. So we divide both sides by P, and we get A over P equals 1 plus RT. So we subtract 1 from each side, and we get AP minus 1 equals RT, and we divide everything by T, and we get that R equals AP minus 1 over T, which is equivalent to what we have up here. These two answers are equivalent, okay?
Would be
AP,
A over.
A over P, good, thanks. I'm going home too early. And they certainly weren't equivalent. So A over P equals 1 plus RT. So now it gets complicated. A over P minus 1 equals RT, and this is where you pay the price of admission. You have to divide everything by T. So the answer that you get is A over P minus 1 all over T, which is equivalent to the top one, but the top one is a little bit cleaner. But they are mathematically equivalent. As long as you do valid mathematical steps, then anything that you do is valid. So I'm going to draw a geometric figure on the board and name the figure. It's a triangle. So this triangle has a base, which is this length, and it also has a height, which is the right angle perpendicular distance from that base to the vertex opposite. And the area of the triangle is given by 1/2 base times height. So I'd like to isolate this formula for h. Emilio, you have an answer, please.
So I got A over 1/2 times B over H.
Yeah, but there's cleaner ways to do it, so let me suggest this. I want the 1/2 to go away. How can I make the 1/2 go away if I multiply by 2? Because what's 2 times 1/2? 1. But if I do that on that side, I do it on this side. So these cancel. And then you get that 2a is equal to bh. And now your next step is to divide both sides by b, and you get that h equals 2a over b. So the 1/2 can be made to go away by multiplying by a 2. 2 times 1/2 is 1. Okay, so the next problem is nasty. A equals t over 1 minus s. Solve for s. There are really difficult ways to do this, but let me make a suggestion. Is this problem, acceptable for cross multiplication? Yes, because the a can always be thought of as the a over 1, agreed? So with that caveat, you just might want to cross multiply. And proceed. Emilio, your answer, s equals what?
S equals A1 minus T over A,
A minus t over,
or A1 minus T.
well, 1a is a, right? Anything times 1 is itself, right? So it's cleaner just to say a minus t over
A.
over a. That looks pretty good, actually. A minus t over a. It's also very, very clean. So can you come up and show your steps? Because usually, one doesn't get it quite that clean. Have to play around a while.
First of all, I cross multiply, so it would be A1 or minus A
one A,
Yes.
one, I didn't do that.
Oh, it's
Nobody but you, man, you're up there.
just touch it.
Top right is an X.
You're welcome.
Precisely that. One A minus A S equals T. And then I would add AS inside to make it go away. So one minus the T. And then I divided to get the S myself, I divided the A. So S equals
Well done.
drops my.
Okay, so it is time for a go-home problem, and the first thing that I'd like to ask the question to the class, I know all of you know the answer, but it's just to check it out anyway. What's the name of this geometric figure? Trapezoid, who said it first? That's awesome. That's usually not God, it's a trapezoid, and it has two bases. This is the base A, and this is the base B. And the height is the perpendicular distance between the two bases, the two parallel lines. Now the area of a trapezoid is given by the equation 1/2 H, let's go write it clearly, 1/2 H A plus B. And I'd like you to solve this for B. Hi. Jordan, your answer is please. B is equal to?
2A minus H little a divided by H.
Hi, go home. Does anyone want to see Jordan do it? Jordan is a request. There actually wasn't, that was fine. No, there was.
So if A equals 1/2 H times A plus B, first thing I did was get rid of the half, so I times this by 2. Do the same thing to the other side. Get 2A equals H A HB, and then subtract the HA. So 2A minus HA equals HB, and then divide by the H. There it is.
Go home. So workshop Saturday, computer 4, I apologize, I'm sorry, there's no test next week. And so we do all of chapter
Homework is A4.
2. A4, all of chapter 2. So if you're not gonna use those handouts that you have You can leave them in the chair here. If you're gonna use them, keep them. That applies to any previous handouts as well.
Like all today, we went to Hatching Onion.
Oh, it actually know it?
Yeah. It's the only place that was open. We're going tomorrow after work. Yeah. You can pick the close one. You can pick the close one.
Or just take the
Some
drill.
people try to get the,
Yeah, absolutely.
if they don't have it, don't pick the class.
You might, come to the pro shop with us tomorrow and then ask them where you can get that, because I can't remember exactly where it is.
Alright, well, I'll see you. We worked on. Yeah.
One more, sir, unless he's gonna eat this. Thanks, Dylan.
I was quite impressed with my score.
Pardon me, ma'am?
My score for my test,
Yes,
I was impressed with myself.
good for you,
It took me forever.
good for you, give yourself a big pat on the back.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Have a good night.
you too.